Hey everybody, welcome back to Project Wildwood. It is sunny but a cold one here in central Washington today, but I'm going to tell you that's not going to stop me from unboxing this new little toy that I have over here. This right here is Dallas. But that is the Morino Funny Top 158 62-inch flail mower. I just picked this up from Good Works Tractor. Shout out to those guys over there. They do a great job of supplying really quality implements. Today I'm going to do an unboxing setup and first operation of this flail mower. And I watched a lot of videos, and I mean a lot of videos, on these flail mowers before I decided to pull the trigger and buy one, but I never saw anyone do an unboxing, and particularly a first run setup, because there are a few prerequisites that you have to do when you first start these. Like a lot of different implements out there, you have to make sure they're greased, they have to make sure they're oiled, and you have to connect some of the bolts and things like that as supporting arms, because they don't ship fully assembled. So I'm going to take you through that process so you can see from delivery all the way to first operation what it's like to get one of these flail mowers. So as you can probably see here, the flail mower comes packaged on a crate. It came on a 40-foot delivery truck, but thankfully they had a lift gate, so I didn't have to use the tractor to unload it. Has this metal frame around it, which did come off the pallet a little bit, but no damage done in freight. Comes fully wrapped in this thick plastic. No dents, no dings, nothing to be concerned about cosmetic either. Really looks good. Now included is obviously the mower itself. We get a PTO shaft, and then over here this is the bracketry to hook up the 3-point. On the top here, this comes in two different models. You can either get the aluminum crankcase or the cast iron crankcase. This one is aluminum. We have a sight glass here, or it's not really a sight glass, but a sight plug for our oil level. So I'm going to be checking that once I get it onto a level surface. And then over on each side, we have grease fittings for our roller, for our bearings. And then over on the other side, we have some comparable grease fittings down here. So I'm gonna get it all bolted up, get it hooked up to the tractor, and then once I've done that, we'll focus on the oiling and the greasing before we fire it up. All right, these bolts, 24 millimeter. I only had one, so I'm gonna have to use a crescent wrench for the other. First stage of assembly is complete here. So down here we got a 24 millimeter bolt followed by a washer, and then inside there is a strengthening sleeve, and then on the other side there's another washer and a lock nut. So make sure that you get that combination all set properly, one on each side. Basically the way this works, pull this pin and then it manually swings from side to side, so I can get an offset while operating this, which is really cool. One other thing I noticed while assembling this is there's more grease points that are marked out here on either side of the arm. So there's 4 total grease points on these arms, so I'll have to make sure those get greased before we fire it up for the first time. All right, well that didn't take all that long, right? Maybe 10 minutes. 3-point hookups all set. I'm gonna go back the tractor in, get it hooked up, get it on a nice level surface, and then we'll start working on the greasing and oiling. And maybe a little difficult to see here, but I got the 3-point all hooked up. Got my top link, 2 bottom links. And those are adjustable bottom links, which, man, that makes hooking up implements so much easier. Over here, I had to stick a bottle jack under this corner because you may have noticed on the pallet it was a little tipped. And that makes hooking up 3-point stuff real difficult if it's not level. So use the bottle jack, made it a little bit more level, got it all hooked up. Now I'm gonna lift it off the pallet, get this metal frame out of the way, and then we'll start greasing and oiling. What's up, Asher? All right, so first things first, I'm gonna check the oil in the box here. And that's gonna be with this Allen key, so I'm gonna have to go in the trailer real quick, pick out an Allen key that I think will work there. They don't really tell you in the manual what it should be, so. The trailer's a mess right now. But, T-handles, that should work. All right, so this is a number 8. I think it's 8mm metric, perhaps. I don't know. I don't know much about Allen keys and how they're marked, but I do like these T-handles because when something's really tight, you can drop it and unplanned. All right, so take this off real slow. Because if oil starts pouring out, that means it's full, right? Alright, so I don't know if you can see in there, probably not. I can't see in there either. But that looks bone dry, so I don't think they shipped with any oil in it. Nope, they did not ship. Oh, no, there's a little bit of oil in there. Okay. Not much, though. Doesn't seem like. I'm gonna have to get a flashlight and shine it in there. Okay, let's see what the flashlight's telling me. And it's really hard to see because the oil's so new. But yeah, it's in there. It's not quite up to the bottom of the threads, but I think I'm just a little bit off level. So that might be the reason. Oh, and this O-Light SR Baton 2 in CU copper. Love, love, love this light. Shout out to O-Light. All right, so since I'm gonna call that good, but I am gonna go down and get some. Before I really use this, I'm gonna go down and get some oil. They call for 90 weight oil to go in there. So I'm gonna go down to the local auto parts store and pick some up so that I can top it off right before I actually do any real mowing with it. But it's not, the level right now is not gonna stop us from firing it up and running it for the first time. All right. All right, anytime I do one of these real messy jobs, tractor, greasing, all that kind of stuff, put on some good disposable gloves. So you do not want this stuff on your hands. Okay, so I got my Lucas squeeze pump greasing gun, and I have a lock and lube on the end of it. I'm just gonna squeeze a little out here, make sure that tip's real nice and clean. Highly recommend getting a lock and lube because you just squeeze it, locks onto the Zerk fitting, and away you go. So I'm using a HD lithium complex grease. This also has 3% moly in it. I really like to use this for the loader and the backhoe, and the instructions say to use a lithium based grease that is, I don't know, whatever that NLGI grade 2. I think all of the tractor greases are NLGI grade 2, so let's get to greasing. So this one already has grease coming out of it, so I'm pretty sure that one looks pretty well greased. But I'm gonna give it a quick shot just to make sure. Now, I can't really see very well where the grease bleed area is for each of these. So in the manual, it says to grease in here. So we got one grease joint, you can see grease, grease, grease. So I'm gonna have to pop that cap off, grease there as well. Okay, now it's time to get the PTO shaft hooked up. I'm not gonna lie, this is the first time I've hooked up a PTO, so wish me luck. Manual. Final checks before we get this thing rolling. Work in daylight. Make sure people are at least 50 meters from the machine. Wear long pants. Yeah. Use protective equipment. After you disengage PTO, the rotor will turn for up to 30 seconds. To prevent damage to the PTO and the gearbox, don't start the machine roughly. So this Massey has PTO soft start, but I'm still gonna engage it, ramp up the engine speed. Don't exceed 540. New machine running in at first use, connect the machine to the tractor, connect PTO, pull the machine down to 15 centimeters from the ground. Let me get out my centimeter measuring tape. And gradually bring up to 540, run the engine for 15 minutes. A whistle in the support zone is normal, and due to the arrangement of the support protection, this will disappear after a few times. After 30 minutes of work, check belt tension. All right, so I'm gonna start up, kind of drive it out a little bit so none of the animals are near me while I'm doing this for the first time. And then we'll get it set at 15 centimeters and get it fired up. Okay, for all of you who are wondering, 15 centimeters is 5 point something 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 inches. So I'm roughly 4 or 5 inches off the ground. think that's sufficient. So here we are, all hooked up. I got PTO shaft hooked up. PTO chains are all hooked up. So that keeps the shaft from spinning. And doing a last couple safety checks. All these are engaged. All my linkages are engaged. I think we're about ready to rumble. So here's the stance. It's just slightly wider than the Massey. I have it on, because the offset, I have it's extending over this side probably a couple more inches than on this side. So we'll fire it up, we'll see how it works. All right, we're in park. All right, well, I gotta take a quick break in the break-in process because the old Massey's thirsty and I gotta get some more diesel put in it. Definitely don't want to run it dry. It'd be a bad idea. Having the fuel filler here is so nice. I'll tell you that. I like using these easy fill tanks or easy fuel canisters. Those ones that you have to push the nozzle. Can't stand those damn things. Okay, so the process for adjusting cutting height is you want to lower the PTO, or sorry, you want to lower the 3-point until the roller touches the ground. And then you adjust your top length to make the cutting height higher or lower, and then adjust your lock nut. So I'm going to set that height with my lock here, and my limit. Let's go mow some stuff. well, there you have it. The first run of the Del Morino Funny Top 158M. And I think it did great. You know, I just went down maybe 100 feet and back just to make sure that everything was operating properly. Again, I don't want to put too much stress on it right now because I want to make sure that I get that oil filled up all the way to the bottom of the threads in that gearbox. But let me just give you a quick tour, since we didn't really do that at the beginning of the video, and show you some of the components. All right, so it's fairly simple. So you have your PTO coming out. It goes this gearbox. Gearbox runs over, and this is a belt system. I think it's a double belt. And it goes down to this drive shaft, and connected to the drive shaft are all these swinging, what they call hammer blades. You can get hammer blades, or you can get V blades. V blades are for more of a clean cut for grass. And then right behind it is this roller. So you basically just let the roller touch the ground, and then you kind of adjust your angle with your top link, and that's kind of how you set the running height of it. The only thing I don't necessarily love about this model versus some of the others that I saw, like some of the Chinese brands, was those had like chains or flaps here that prevented any debris kickback. I did notice when I was out there, I did throw a couple of rocks around. So that's one thing to think about. And then again, this linkage here, this pin here, allows for the offset to go from side to side. And they have some hydraulic models, but I didn't want to spend all that for a mower. So manual offset is working just fine for me. I don't think I'll really even need to do a whole lot with it. All right, well, I guess that takes care of it. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. You know, do all the things that great YouTubers do, right? We're all a big community, and we like to support each other. Until the next time, if you got any comments or questions about either the Massey or the Del Morino, go ahead and put them down below, and I'll make sure to get to them real quick. All right, see you guys.